Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum ta'ala. Just about to start the podcast. Stay tuned. I'm just going to put some links in the comments section. Make sure you subscribe to each channel. I've got a new channel, Let's Talk Hijrah. We've got the Muslim Reacts channel and also a charity that I support, Humanity Care Relief. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be back very shortly. Stay tuned. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the day of Arafat. Subhanallah. Welcome to the channel. So this is the Young Smirks channel. So today I want to speak about my journey to Hajj. Alhamdulillah, I've been to Hajj a few times. I wanted to give my story on how it happened, how I got there, and some of the experiences I had, because subhanallah, a lot of things happened on the way, things that I personally would regard as miracles. So today we're going to speak a little bit about my story to Hajj. I've just put up three links, which I would like it if you guys can subscribe to them. We've got the Let's Talk Hijrah channel, which is a new channel, which basically I'm removing the Let's Talk Hijrah section of the Young Smirks podcast, and I'm setting up a brand new channel for that. I've got a Muslim Reacts channel, which I'm going to be reacting to a lot of these Christian videos, especially what happened in Hyde Park last week. That was just crazy. Lots of things happened. I just want to refute a lot of the issues that happened there and a lot of the doubts that the Christians are posing lately. So I've got a new channel for that. I don't want to mess up my old channel, you see. So I've been advised to set up a new channel. And Humanity Care Relief is a charity that I support, which I recommend you guys subscribing to and following. Bismillah. Let's see if we can sort this microphone out. That should be a bit better. Bismillah. Let me know if you can hear me. So yes, subhanAllah, today is the day of Arafat. Let's see if we can get one of the videos of Arafat up. SubhanAllah, and every year, if I'm not there, I just feel so sad that I didn't make it to Arafat. SubhanAllah. So let's have a look. If you've got any comments or suggestions or things you want to say, please comment. Let's see if we can get up the day of Arafat. Arafat 2024. It should be approaching Maghrib, I reckon. Over there. I don't know if this is a live feed. Let's have a look. So apparently this is a live feed. I'm not sure if it is. Let's see. Let's see if we can get the live feed up of Arafat. That's probably the best we're going to get it. So yeah, subhanAllah. There we are. We got the day of Arafat, subhanAllah. Now, for those of you who have been to Hajj, subhanAllah, you'll know the significance of this day. This is the day when all the pilgrims actually get onto Mount Arafat in the area, and they're asking Allah for forgiveness. And this is where we seek forgiveness, the main day of the Hajj. So subhanAllah, millions, I'm not sure how many, but literally millions of pilgrims are there now seeking forgiveness. And subhanAllah, it's an amazing day. The Prophet ﷺ described it as the best day of the year. Okay. And the best, and these 10 days, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, are the best 10 days of the year. So doing good deeds in these days is very more significant than other days. So subhanAllah, today I wanted to speak a little bit about my story going to Hajj, things that happened before Hajj. Why did I even think about going to Hajj? This happened around, I think, 13 years ago. So I was a brand new Muslim at the time. I didn't really know much about Islam. And as most Muslims, I didn't even think about Hajj. I'm just about learning how to pray. I'm just about getting the prayers on time. Fasting Ramadan. I've got no money, so I don't give zakat. I'm a brand new Muslim. And I wasn't even thinking about going to Hajj, to be honest with you. It didn't even cross my mind. I'll be honest with you. And this is the reality. Many Muslims, we go through life, alhamdulillah, but we don't think about going to Hajj. Many Muslims, we don't even consider it. We don't even think about it. But we have to remember that it's the fifth pillar of Islam. It's so important to go to Hajj. So anyway, I'm a Muslim. I'm a new Muslim. I was living in Manchester, and I'd recently had a brain tumor. So I had a big scar on the side of my head. I'd recovered. I was still recovering as well from my brain tumor. And at the time, I'd been speaking to this family for marriage. Okay, this Moroccan family, and alhamdulillah, it looks like I was going to get married to this Moroccan sister. And so the mother said, look, you have to come to Morocco, speak to the family, and, we'll take it from there. So I'm like, okay. They seemed pretty serious. The family was serious. It was a good family, good sister, etc. And I thought, okay, let's go to Morocco, speak to the family, and hopefully I'll end up getting married, So subhanAllah, I planned my trip to Morocco in Ramadan. Okay, I think it was around the mid Ramadan, maybe the last 10 days of Ramadan. Because I'd been to Morocco many times before, but the intention of this visit was literally to seek marriage, with this family. So anyway, I think I was about 25 at the time, 25 years old, maybe 26 years old. So I went to Morocco. So I'm in Manchester. Right? I come out of my house and I've got my suitcase, and I'm going to the tram stop. In Manchester we have the Metro Link, so I'm dragging my case to the Metro Link, and I arrive at the Metro Link. I've got a thobe on. I'm wearing a thobe, which is quite unusual for me to wear a thobe in the UK. But I'm thinking I'm going to Morocco, just wear a thobe. There's no point wearing heavy clothes. It's hot. It's summer, etc. So I get on the tram, and there's this guy looking at me, and I'll be honest, he looks Moroccan, but he's just looking at me. So I'm thinking, okay, he didn't say salam, nothing. I just ignored it. I got off the tram and I got onto the train. And subhanAllah, when I got on the train, the same guy was there, subhanAllah. And the guy is looking at me, right? So I'm thinking, this is weird. I've come all the way from my house. I got on the tram. I've changed the tram to the train, and the guy's still there. So subhanAllah, I got off the train in the airport, checked in my bag, everything. And I get on the plane, and guess who's there? The same guy is on the plane. I'm looking at him thinking, wow, is this guy following me or something? So anyway, I ignore it. I get off the plane. I go into Morocco in Rabat. No, not in Marrakesh, actually. I get off the plane in Marrakesh. I get in a taxi. I go to the train station and I get on the train. And guess who is there? SubhanAllah, the same guys on the train. And I walked all the way down to the bottom of the carriage, like maybe 10, 15 carriages down, right? And I get on the train and the guy is there. The same guy is on the train. So I'm thinking, wow, what's going on here? So anyway, I said to him, Salam alaikum. Because at this point, he's in Morocco. I know he's a Muslim. So I'm like, Salam alaikum. And we get talking. And he says, how are you? I've been seeing you all day. I seen you like 6, 7 hours ago. You got on the tram and then you got on the train, got on the plane, got on the train. And, where you going? So I said, I'm going to Rabat. I'm getting a train from Marrakesh to Rabat. So the guy's like, SubhanAllah, I'm going to Rabat. So the guy gave me his phone number. He said, look, come and see me. I'm inviting you to my house. I want you to visit my family. And we became friends. So anyway, that night I get to Rabat and I go to the Masjid Sunnah, which is at the top of the main road in Rabat. It's the old masjid of Sheikh Sayyid al-Kamali. He used to teach there. So I go there for Taraweeh and it's full. SubhanAllah, we're praying outside. And I don't know what happened to me, but that night I just felt I'm not going to marry this sister. I don't know what it was. It was istikhara. I just felt that I'm not going to marry the sister. I knew that this sister is not right for me. She's from a good family. She's a good sister. She's got a good family, etc. But I just had this feeling as soon as I got to Rabat, that I'm not going to marry this person. It's not the right thing for me. I don't know what it was. I think it was an answer to istikhara. Allah knows best. So anyway, I go to Taraweeh. I go back to the hotel, and I let the family know that I'm there, because it's a bit rude to go to Morocco, and they're expecting me. They're expecting me to come. They're expecting me to meet them, or meet the uncles, etc. Because the father passed away. And so I thought, you know what, let me go and meet the family, at least the uncles, and that's it. SubhanAllah, this family did not contact me for 3 or 4 days. Now, anyone who knows Muslim culture and knows specifically Moroccan culture, they don't leave guests for 4 or 5 days. They don't, like, this is very strange, like, generally, especially Arabs, if you've got a guest coming from a different country, they're going to be waiting on the tarmac of the waiting at the airplane. As you're getting off the airplane, they're going to bypass customs. They're going to be there holding your bag, greeting you, waiting for you. I don't mean literally, but literally, as you come out the airport, they're going to be there. They're going to be greeting you, holding your bag, welcoming you, etc. There's no way that you can be a guest in someone's country, especially in Arab, and they know you're coming to visit them specifically, that they say they'll meet you in 3 or 4 days. So subhanAllah, this is like an indication for me that, look, subhanAllah, I already had an inclination in the salah that I'm not going to marry this person. And already signs are coming that this is strange. Like, why would the family not meet me? So anyway, cut of Allah, I was waiting 3 or 4 days to meet them, no problem. But by this time, I'd already kind of admitted to myself, I'm not going to marry this person. They're good people, but there's something not right going on. So anyway, I thought, no problem. I'm here. It's Ramadan. I'm praying Taraweeh in Morocco. I'm enjoying it, enjoying the food, enjoying the fast. So I thought, let me phone this brother, the brother that I'd been following from the airport, thought, let me follow him. Let me call him. I'll go and visit him. So the next day I visited him, and I went to his house, and subhanAllah, his mother was crying, like crying so hard. And I'm like, what's wrong, bro? Like, why is your brother crying? And he said that she can afford to go to Hajj. She saved the money, but she's not been picked to go to Hajj. So I said, what do you mean not been picked? Because I'm from the UK. There's such a small amount of Muslims that generally, at the time, anyone who wanted to go to Hajj, and if you had the money, you could go every year if you want. But I didn't realize that in Muslim countries, there's a quota. There's a limited number of people that are allowed to go from each Muslim country. So let's just say Morocco get their quota of whatever it is, 20,000, 30,000. I don't know how many. But each country gets a quota based on the population, the size of the population. So this woman, this lady, this auntie, subhanAllah, she'd had her name on the waiting list for many years. She's got the money. She wants to go to Hajj, and she's crying and crying and crying because she's not been chosen. And at this point, this is the point I realized, wow, I'm a new Muslim. I've been Muslim maybe 2 or 3 years, and I've not even been to Hajj yet. I'd not even thought about going to Hajj. I'm here in Morocco, traveling. I've traveled to different places, Africa. I was pretty well traveled, even before I became a Muslim. And I've not even thought about Hajj yet. I've not even thought about going to Hajj. So subhanAllah, I said to myself that night, I said, Allah, I will not travel again until I've been to Hajj. I'm not going to travel. I said to Allah, I made a pledge that I'm not going to travel again. I'm not going to leave the country, meaning England, until I have gone to Hajj, because this is not fair. I'm a new Muslim. I've not even thought about going to Hajj. I need to complete the 5th pillar of Islam. So I went back to the UK, and to be honest, I didn't have much money. SubhanAllah. I think I had about £1,000, and I needed about £4,000. And at the time, as I said, I was recovering from a brain tumor. I was not earning much money. £4,000 was a lot of money. It still is a lot of money. So I spoke to one of my friends, an uncle, one of my first teachers of Dawah. I love this brother so much. I don't want to name him. Because he wouldn't want me to name him for this. And I asked him, I know he's a wealthy brother, mashallah. He's got a very good job. And I asked him, I said, is it possible you could borrow me £3,000 because I want to go to Hajj? And he laughed. He said, you're not supposed to borrow money to go to Hajj. It's not right that you should go to Hajj with debts. Ideally, some of the scholars say that you should kind of pay your debts off first, right? The obligation is to get rid of your debts before going to Hajj. Because obviously 1,000 years ago, going to Hajj, many times people wouldn't return. If you imagine you're traveling from Morocco to Hajj, you may never come back. It's such a long journey. It takes you months to get there, months to get back. Who knows? Maybe you pass away before coming home. So a lot of people get rid of their debts before going to Hajj. Of course, this day and age, it's a bit easier. We have planes. It's a lot easier to go to Hajj. So people don't think like that so much anymore. So the brother, he said, look, here's £3,000. He said, that's a gift from me. I was like, subhanAllah. I was not asking for money for a gift. Like, I was literally ready to pay him back. I wanted to lend the money from him. And he said, no. Khalas, he said, I want the reward. Here's the money. Take the money. So I have the money. I have his money and my money together in an envelope, and I put it in the drawer at the side of my desk. So I'm planning to go to Hajj. I'm looking for, the best Hajj package. And a friend of mine calls me. This is an old friend. He's an Egyptian friend, and he happens to be the brother that took my shahada. Okay, so he calls me and says, "John, I'm coming to the UK." So subhanallah, he's he's uh he's flying from Egypt to London. So he flies to London, and he decides, I'm going to get an internal flight from London to Manchester direct. Instead of coming out of London, getting the train, I'm just going to fly to Manchester. So he changes his flight. He comes to Manchester. And by this time, I'd been on YouTube. I'd had a few videos about dawah. I was still quite young to Islam. I didn't know much, but I had a few dawah videos out there. And this brother, he was speaking to me that night. He came to my house. He stayed in my house. And he said, "Look, John, subhanAllah, you became a Muslim. You took Shahada with me, and now you've passed me." He said, "My salah is not on point, this, that, and the other." And he said, "I want to start practicing Islam now properly. I'm going to start praying. You've inspired me to pray and this, that, and the other." I was like, "MashaAllah, great." That very next morning, so what happens, subhanAllah, he comes to my house. He's an Egyptian brother who took my Shahada, and another friend of mine, a Libyan brother, who was really influential and he played a huge part in me accepting Islam, also came to my house because I wanted them to meet. It's like one of them really introduced me to Islam, and the other one took the Shahada. And I thought this would be a great time for them to meet. They both came to my house. They stayed at my house, and subhanAllah, the very next morning, we get raided by the police. Subhanallah. So remember, I've got my £4,000 in the desk in cash, and legally, I've just had a brain tumor. I'm not earning much money. There's no proof of where this money comes from. Literally, there's like 5 or 6 black, like Range Rover, blacked out Range Rovers. This is not normal police, right? This was like serious MI5 style police. They raid my house, and they're looking for the Egyptian brother, subhanAllah. And they grab him. They say, "We believe he's here." This is armed police, by the way. They come in the house, armed, bam, bam, bam. Kick the door down. The door was off, fully off, like not just open, kicked down. The full door was off, right? The full door was on the floor. So the armed police come in the house, and I'm thinking, what is this? Because subhanAllah, they had a warrant to get this brother. He'd been in the country one day, and they were waiting for him in London when he landed in London, and they eventually they lost track of him because he took an internal flight to Manchester, and they lost him. And what I realized is when he logged onto his email in my address with my IP, they knew where he was. So they came, they bust the door, and they took him. And they took all my electricals. They was after him because they accused him of basically fraud. They said that there's a case of fraud that they're after him for. He'd stolen £1 million from Santander Bank. So this is what he'd done. He'd managed to transfer money. He'd done some fraud, and he managed to steal £1 million from the bank, and that's what they wanted him for. So what happened with this brother? He ends up getting put in prison. He gets 7 years prison. I think he was out in like 3.5. After about 2 years, MI5 offered him a job. He started working as a hacker for MI5, and eventually he goes back to Egypt. So anyway, when they raided the house, they took him, but now they're seeing it as an opportunity. Let's take everything. So they now start taking my laptop, my phone. They took everything out of my house, and they accused me that on the grounds of terrorism. Subhanallah. So they'd already been in contact with me because I was giving dawah on the streets of Manchester. I was giving dawah. We had dawah tables, and a lot of the time the terrorism police would come. they would threaten us. Oh, you can't stand here. But we knew the law. We knew we were allowed to stand in the street. We're not selling anything. We're not, charging. There's no donations. We're literally giving things for free. And we knew that under the law in Manchester, where we were stood, we were allowed to do that. So a lot of the time, the terrorism police would come. The police would come to the Dawah table a lot. So the police knew me. They knew who I was. As I said, I had a few videos on YouTube at that point. So they, under the guise of Terrorism Act, they started to take everything. And the policeman opens the drawer of my desk, and he finds £4,000. Now I'm thinking, man, I've been raided by the police before in Jahiliyyah, and I know that there's no way the police are going to leave that money there, right? They take everything. They when police raid your house, they take all electricals, they take, your anything suspicious, money, bank cards, you name it. They clean you out. And I looked at the money, and I'm sat in the chair of the desk, and he's going through the desk, and he opens it, he finds the money. And I told him, I said, that is for my pilgrimage. I'm going to Hajj, leave it where it is. And subhanAllah, the money's halal. The policeman put the money back in the drawer. Now, I'm serious. Anyone who knows about police knows that there's no way a policeman is going to raid your house, especially when the guy's just being accused of robbing a bank for £1 million, right? And then they're using terrorism charges to take everything, right? He left the money in the drawer. SubhanAllah, I was like so shocked. They took everything. They took all my electricals, everything, and they left the money in the drawer. So SubhanAllah, this was from Allah. I said, look at that, SubhanAllah. This money was halal. It's for Hajj, Anyway, I found a package. I went to Hajj. I booked the Hajj, and I'm going with this group. I went with a nice group. The group leaders turned out to be complete fraudsters, subhanAllah. They robbed many people in the group. They tried to charge them more at the last minute and things like that. And there was actually a court case going on later on to sue the Hajj company. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I went to Hajj. So, subhanAllah, I went to Hajj. I traveled to Mecca. First, we traveled to Medina. It was an amazing experience. We're in Masjid Nabawi. The brothers are showing me around. One of the Pakistani brothers, he took me around Masjid Nabawi. He had all the contacts for the Pakistani and Bengali workers who clean the masjid. So they were making us cups of tea in the masjid with Zamzam water. We sat in the the office in the masjid. And alhamdulillah, it was beautiful. We spent, I think, 1 or 2 weeks in Medina. And then we went to Mecca. And Mecca is a different experience totally. Mecca is so busy. It's tough. It's rough. Everyone's got, and everyone's going at the same thing, the Kaaba. Everyone's trying to do Umrah. Everyone's just got one intention only in Mecca. So we went to Mecca, and we did the Hajj, a great experience. We went, we did the Hajj. And one of the things that I remember on Hajj is in the days of Mina, I think it was the second day of Mina, I was coming back with a friend of mine, and we're walking back from Azizia to Mina. After you've done the stoning, we had a hotel in Azizia. We'd take some rest, and then in the evening, when the sun had gone down a bit, we would walk back to Mina. So we're walking back to Mina one night, and me and my friend, we start arguing. Like, we're getting into a bit of a debate. I can't remember what it was about, but we're just arguing. Anyway, I said to him, 1 minute, let me get some water. And on the way, there's like water fountains. So I went to the water fountain. I pulled up my head, and he went to a water fountain, and wallahi, we lost each other. It was like Allah separated us. He didn't want us arguing. Anyway, later on, we got back to the tent. He's like, where were you? I was like, where were you? And we just lost each other. SubhanAllah. It was a cut of Allah. Allah didn't want us to argue, Anyway, we went, we did the Hajj, and we completed the Hajj, and we're on our way to, I think we stayed there 3 weeks. We're on our way to the airport. We went back to Medina for a week, and then from Medina, we're going back to the airport. So on the way back to the airport, I'm just making dua. Oh Allah, please let me stay. Please let me stay here. Let me stay. Let me stay. Let me stay. Please let me stay in Medina. I don't want to go home. And to be honest, I had no money. I'd finished. My money was done, totally finished. I've got no money left. So I said to myself, look, let me go to the counter, and I'll ask the airline if they can change my flight. If they change my flight for free, then I'll stay. If they charge me, then obviously I can't stay. I have to go home. And anyone who knows, like 13 years ago, if you come with a Hajj group, you have to go home with your Hajj group. The airlines would never change your flight. Never. They would never change it. It's very, very rare they would change it. You need a special visa or something. You have to go home with your Hajj group. So I went to the airline, Turkish Airlines, and I said to them, look, can you change my ticket for 1 more week or 2 more weeks? I said. They said, yeah, sure. Done. I was like, what? No cost, nothing. They changed my flight. I was shocked. I'm like, wow, subhanAllah. Literally my group are queuing to put their bags in, and I've changed my flight. So I said to the group, look, I'm staying, subhanAllah. I've changed my flight. They're letting me stay. So I went to I got my flight changed, and then I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? Like, I have no money, I have nowhere to stay, I have no cash. So as I stepped out of the airport, my phone started ringing, and one of the Pakistani brothers who I mentioned before, like an old uncle. I didn't buy a package from him, but I went to his office one time, and I was nearly doing Hajj with them guys, but I decided with a different package. So he called me and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Medina. I'm at the airport." So he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" So I said, "They've just changed my flight." He said, "No problem. Come to Medina, come to this hotel, and I have a place for you to stay." So I'm like, subhanAllah, look at that. I didn't even ask anyone. And before you know it, I've got another location to stay. So anyway, I've got about £20 in cash on me. Just enough, literally, to get a taxi to Medina. So I got a taxi to this hotel. I met the uncle. He's like, yeah, no problem. We have a place. You can stay on the floor. You can sleep in a hotel. I'm like, great, no problem. We go to the lift. And imagine, in this hotel, there's like maybe 5 sets of lifts. And in Medina, there's hundreds, if not thousands of hotels. I mean, at least hundreds of hotels. And in each hotel, there's many lifts, right? So out of all the hotels in Mecca, in Medina, and all the lifts in Medina, I get into the lift, and guess what? There's a friend of mine in the lift. A very close friend called Usman from Cheetah Mill. He's a poet, mashallah, and he didn't know it. And subhanAllah, I said, subhanAllah, look at that. I told him what happened. I said, these brothers have somewhere for me to stay. Now you're going to feed me. Because he's a close brother of mine. I knew. And as the Prophet ﷺ told us, if you have enough food for one, it's enough for two. So I told him, you're going to feed me, He said, I'm only here for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I'm going back to the UK. I said, no problem. And he had a spare bed in his room, so I stayed with him. And subhanAllah, I had my food and everything. Assalamu alaikum, Bold Ottoman. Assalamu alaikum, Deen al-Haq. Thanks for joining us. We also have Pothol Fot. Yeah, guys, I'm just telling the story of how I got to go to Hajj. We're getting to the crux of it right now. But there's also some links that I want you guys to subscribe to. There's a new channel called Let's Talk Hijra. Basically, I had a show within my Young Smirks podcast, which I'm separating now. I'm making a separate channel called Let's Talk Hijra. I also have another channel called Muslims React. The reason that for this channel is that I'm going to be answering some of these Christian videos that are going on, and I don't want to ruin my other channel. And of course, Humanity Care Relief is a charity that I support. I recommend these guys. I trust them. So please support these links. Go and click on the links in the comment section and subscribe, please. So back to the story. So I met my friend in the lift. I've got my place to stay. I've got my food. So alhamdulillah, I spent 3 or 4 days with him. I'm in Medina and I'm enjoying. Next thing, I get a call from a friend of mine, a Saudi brother, who used to be studying in Manchester. And he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Medina." He said, "SubhanAllah, I'm in Bareda." Now, Bareda is in the north of Saudi, and it's very conservative. And he said, "Come to Bareda." Now, if you remember, about 13 years ago, it was not allowed for a Hajj to leave Mecca or Medina. Saudi used to be very closed off. There was none of this tourism visa, none of this going around Saudi touring. It was very closed off. The pilgrims had to stay in Mecca and Medina, possibly Jeddah, but they were not allowed to travel everywhere. So I told my friend, "No problem, come and get me." So he came, he drove all the way from Bareda. He picked me up, and at the borders of Medina, there's like security. So I dressed in the Saudi clothes. I put on the scarf and the thobe, everything, and I just act like I was sleeping. And as we're going through the security, they just kind of go, go, go. So we traveled all the way to Bareda. It's like 6-7 hours drive. So we land in Bareda. The first thing my friend does, he takes me to the head of the police, and he says, "Look, this is my friend. You know, I brought him. He's from Hajj. He just wants to let the police know, look, you know, if somebody says they've seen a foreigner, know that he's with me. It's okay. Like, don't worry. We know who he is. We're going to take him back in a few days." So, subhanAllah, the policeman's greeting us. He's like, "Great, no problem. You can, stay. Let's go to the farm and get you a sheep." SubhanAllah, they followed the sunnah of Ibrahim, which is, when you have guests, they cooked a sheep. So the policeman took me, the head of police, he took me to the farm. He said, "Pick a sheep." I picked a sheep, killed the sheep. They slaughtered it. And that night, we buried the sheep in the ground and cooked it on the ground. It was beautiful, amazing. So I spent literally a week living in the desert in Bareda. It's very conservative. We went on Jummah. They go to the desert. They had the big dune bashing cars, the 4x4 cars. We drive in, we horse riding, we camel riding, we're doing everything. It was an amazing experience. Then, when after a week, I think it was 1 week, I'm heading now back to the airport. So I'm driving to the airport, and I'm making dua again, because my flight is in the evening. I'm asking Allah, "Please, Allah, let me stay. I want to stay in Saudi. I don't want to go home." Anyway, as we're driving through the desert, the car tire pops, and the car kind of wobbles. We nearly come off the track, and we pull over. And then so they're trying to change the tire with the spare tire, and the spare tire was also popped. So we're now stuck in the desert, and I don't care. I'm like, I'm doing whatever. I'm making dua. I want to stay. So I'm not going to complain about a popped tire. Anyway, the brothers, they managed to hitchhike. A car stopped, and pulled over. And the brothers told the brothers, "Look, are you going to Medina?" They said, "Yeah, we're from Medina. We live in Medina. We're going to Medina, so we'll drop him at the airport." So I'm like, subhanAllah, that's not what I wanted to hear, but no problem. We're going to the airport. All the way, I'm making dua, "Please, Allah, let me stay. We get to the airport, and the airport says, your flight has been cancelled. You have another 3 days in Medina. Now, subhanAllah, this never happens. What do you mean a flight's cancelled on Hajj? You know, you can't just cancel a flight and expect someone to pay for themselves for 3 days. Yeah. So anyway, they canceled my flight. I had another 3 days in Medina. And the brothers that drove me, which we hitchhiked from, they said, we're from Medina. We can never allow a guest, you know, to stay. They got me a hotel. They even gave me some money. And they said, stay here. After 3 days, we're going to take you to the airport. I'm like, subhanAllah. Look how Allah answers du'as, right? This is truly a 5-star Hajj, right? So anyway, I'm in Medina now. Now the trip is coming to an end. I've got 3 days to relax, to calm down, to pray, to, you know, take my time to finish off Medina. And I got some gifts, etc. And my suitcase was packed. You know, when you go to Hajj for the first time, you're buying all sorts of rubbish like scarves and all sorts of dates, gifts for people back home. My suitcase is bulging and the wheels are broken, right? So I'm thinking, subhanAllah, how am I going to get back to home? You know, once I arrive at the airport, I'm going to use public transport on the tram and the train and the bus. I'm going to be dragging this really heavy 35 kg bag. It was about 40 kg at the time. They allowed that amount of weight at that time. I'm pulling it. Anyway, I went to the airport. I flew to the UK. I got to Manchester Airport and they told me, your bag has not arrived. It's coming in 3 hours' time. So you go home and we will bring the bag to you. I was like, subhanAllah, look at that. I was thinking, how am I going to get this bag home? Because the wheels are broken. And then my bag was delayed only 3 hours. It's coming on the next flight. So I went home, literally with my hands in my pockets. Such an easy way. Got home within 3 or 4 hours, knock on the door. The airline brought my bag straight to my door. SubhanAllah. So how is that for a 5-star Hajj? Now, what I'm trying to get out of this, I'm not bragging, I'm not trying to show off. You know, SubhanAllah, I went to Hajj with the permission of Allah. Now, a lot of people, when they're talking about Hajj, they say, oh, I can't afford it. I'm never going to manage to afford to go to Hajj. It's like £5,000, £6,000. You know, I'm never going to earn that amount of money. Guess what? It's not about how much you earn. It's about being invited by Allah. I currently know there's 2 brothers or 3 brothers in Hajj currently now. They stood on Arafat now. Brother Yusuf, Brother Yusuf Ponders, and the other Yusuf, as well as Brother Lee from Newcastle. They're currently doing Hajj now. And it went to them for free. One brother went there to study and he found himself doing Hajj. 2 of them got invited. Look, if you want to go to Hajj, ask Allah. Ask Allah to go to Hajj. Have the intention with me. Do you think that I could have gone to Hajj if I didn't have the intention or didn't have the urge to go to Hajj? It was the fact that I went to Morocco originally for marriage, that it didn't work out, that, subhanAllah, I ended up meeting a woman who's crying, who wanted to go to Hajj, who couldn't go to Hajj because she wasn't picked, which inspired me to want to go to Hajj. So before that, I didn't even think about Hajj. Maybe you're one of the Muslims like I used to be, where we didn't even think about going to Hajj. You think, oh, we'll do Hajj when we're 50 or 60 years old. Who wants to do Hajj when they're 20 or 25, 30? Let's do it when we're 60, 70. No. Do it every year, inshallah. If Allah makes it possible, you can do Hajj every single year. So, brothers and sisters, don't have this defeatist mentality. Whatever you need in life, ask Allah. Allah tells you to ask Him. If you're in need, if you're in want, ask Allah. He can give you anything. He is Al-Akram. He's the most generous. He never runs out of stuff. He never runs out of giving. SubhanAllah. So this, hopefully this story to Hajj will just be some inspiration for you guys to think about, maybe we should start collecting money, £10 a week, £50 a month, £100 a month, £1,000 a month. Before you know it, you've got the money to go to Hajj. You can start inquiring, with the companies, how much is it? How can you expect to go to Hajj if you don't even know how much it is? Maybe you find a good deal. This year, just 2 days ago, I was still contacting companies because I can't afford to go to Hajj right now, right? I contacted a company asking, do you have any spare spaces? Because sometimes people drop off at the end. Sometimes people, they get sick, they can't go, or something happens, they can't go to Hajj, and a visa becomes available. I was contacting companies even up until 3 days ago. There was a company, they told me, if you would have messaged me 3 days ago, you could have had a free Hajj. SubhanAllah. Because they had a spare visa, but I missed it by 3 days. SubhanAllah. So don't think, and that's a free Hajj. Allahu Akbar. So SubhanAllah, don't think that just because you don't have the money, because you're not rich, or you don't have you might not have the physical means, don't think that it's impossible to go to Hajj. Have the intention and the niyyah, and trust Allah that He's going to give you. SubhanAllah. It's truly amazing. So hopefully that inspired some of you. I want you guys, before you go, please subscribe to the links which I've put below. Humanity Care Relief, they're doing a sacrifice for the sheep this year. You can go to their website, or you can donate sadaqah and zakat. You can support the projects there. I support this charity. They're a good charity. Also, I have 2 new channels, Muslims React. This channel is going to be reacting to some of these videos that the missionaries are trying to lie about Islam. I'm going to be reacting very soon with some special guests. And of course, Let's Talk Hijrah. I'm separating the Hijrah show from the Young Smirks channel and making a separate channel because it was interfering with the running of the Young Smirks channel. And of course, we have the Young Smirks channel as well. So please, a big shout out to Brother Ben as well for advising me on this. SubhanAllah. Brother Ben advised me to split the channels. So we have Let's Talk Hijrah. We have Muslims React. And this is good advice from Ben because he knows how YouTube and the algorithms work. So I'd just like to thank Ben for his channel. Also, big shout out to Ben. Go to Brother Ben's channel, Ben Ikra. He gives advice on building a YouTube channel, etc., things like that. So yeah, brothers and sisters, I hope you got some benefit from, learning about my Hajj experience. That's my first Hajj experience. Alhamdulillah, I've been to Hajj a few times and I've been to Umrah many times, because the first dua that I made when I looked at the Kaaba, when I first seen the Kaaba, was, "Oh Allah, please answer all my duas." and another dua that I made was, let me come to Mecca and Medina a lot. Let me perform the Hajj, let me perform the Umrah a lot. This is something I like. Some people are good at fasting, some people are good at Tahajjud. I like Hajj and Umrah. I love this. This is something that brings me closer to Allah. It's something that I like. Some people don't like it. It's a big test. It's not easy. I've seen people crumble in Hajj. I've seen people crumble in there. And even, it gets too difficult for them. But I love it. I love the test. I love the difficulty of the Hajj. It's something that I like to do. So alhamdulillah, please go to them channels that I said. And also watch out, because we're going to be reacting to some of the videos like God Logic, David Wood. These guys, they came to Hyde Park last week causing mayhem. They were so rude. We're going to point out what they're saying and analyze their speech. And I'm going to show you how they're refuting themselves, you know, because to someone who doesn't understand what they're saying, often their confidence can make you think that that they're winning. You know, they get often, you know, because for instance, you got the God Logic, you know, he's sat there, he stood there debating someone, and he's surrounded by all of his gang, and the gang, you know, ad libbing what he's saying. You know, it's like as if it's almost like when you're rapping, and then his friends finish off the sentence. You know, it's like that's what it's like, and it can make you think that. You know, that they're winning, and it's not. It's just rhetoric. So we're going to expose what they're actually saying and analyze the actual speech and show how it's all they're just acting. And even God Logic himself, he admitted in one of the videos that they were rehearsing the whole thing. Subhanallah. So inshallah, we're going to be covering that and answering a lot of their things. Ben Ikra says he's still not been to Hajj. So if there's a Hajj company out there, you need some advice on how to run your channels. Maybe you can do a deal with Ben Ikra. You know, that's what you have to do. You've got to be upfront with these guys. Sometimes I go to these Hajj companies. I tell them, look, have you got a spare Hajj? Has anyone passed away? Have you got a spare visa? One year, one Hajj company told me somebody's just backed out now. You can have their visa as long as you pay for your own flight. If you pay for your flight, you've got free Hajj. I was like, subhanAllah, khalas. 1 year, that's how I did it. Allahu Akbar. So, look, make the intention, ask Allah, know that Allah can give you if He wants. Truly understand Allah can give you 5-star Hajj. Like, it's not a joke. One on Umrah, one time I went to Umrah, they took me to the top of the clock tower. Can you imagine? Right at the top of the clock tower, and I'm looking at everything. So, look, nothing is out of the permission of Allah. If Allah wants you to go to Hajj, you can. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Sister Nazmi says that their turn will come, never get to do Umrah and Hajj yet. No problem. Make dua. Today is Arafat. Make dua now. Now is the time to make dua. Make sincere dua. This is Arafat. Your duas are going to be answered. You will go, inshallah. You will go. What have we got now? I'll be in the area February, March, inshallah. So Allah might invite me. You can go. Ben, let me tell you, Umrah is a piece of cake. The visa is £30, bro. Subhanallah. It's a visa waiver. For English people now, we've got visa waiver. The tourist visa is £100, 6-month visa, but multiple entry. But if you want to go one entry, it's £30. Allahu Akbar. You can go to Medina. You can rent a property in Medina for £300-400 a month, and you can go to Medina every day, Masjid Nabawi. Subhanallah. You can get the train for 25-30 quid, right? Down to Mecca, do Umrah, and come back. Or you can stay down Mecca for a couple of days, £30 hotel. People don't know how easy it is. And let me tell you, if you go to Umrah, you're going to be addicted. You're going to be addicted. Show me one person that has been to Hajj or Umrah and says that, no, you should only go once in a lifetime. Most people who have been, they either want to go again or they have been again because it's addictive. Subhanallah. Oh, sorry, your brother Nazmi. Sorry, the name reminded me of one of the sisters who commented. I thought you was a sister. So make dua, guys. Look, I'm serious. We have to come back to Allah with our duas, because the duas are strong and powerful, man. That's when you're going to see miracles, and you have to truly believe He's going to give it you. Like, when I was in Morocco that time, I told you, at the beginning of the video, if you've not seen it, go back and watch the rest of the video. I went to Morocco seeking marriage. And as I landed in Morocco, I knew that I don't want to marry the person. I'd not even met I'd not even seen the family yet. But I just knew it's not for me. But the reason I was going to Morocco, because Allah wanted me to see that old lady who wanted to go to Hajj. Because that's what inspired me to go to Hajj. So hopefully I can inspire you guys, to take it serious so that it's in your reach. If you truly want it, the next Hajj, next year, if you really want it, next year you will go to Hajj. Next year you will go to Umrah. But do you really want it? If you really want it, I'm telling you, you make dua, you ask Allah, you do sujood to Allah, you give sadaqah, and you will go, inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to keep it short and sweet. This is just a quick reminder. This is a video from Arafat. This is the masjid in Arafat where they give the khutbah. I've actually been in this masjid. I actually gave the adhan in this masjid, not on the day of Arafat, but I did give the adhan in this masjid on a day when there was no salah. But I went in the mu'adhin's box. I've got a video online somewhere. But subhanAllah, that was another time I went to Hajj when a TV company asked me to go with them, and we got access to filming this masjid, subhanAllah. So this is just, look at the videos from the Hajj. And I'm telling you guys, it will change your life. It will change your life. The way you think about Islam, the way you think about life. You need to go to Hajj. So, brothers and sisters, don't forget, subscribe to the channels. It's going to be a bit slow in the beginning, but we got Muslim Reacts. I'm going to go live tonight with the first video where we're going to refute and expose some of these Christian missionaries in the park. I don't want this to interfere with my Young Smirks channel, so I separated it. We've got shows currently being released on Let's Talk Hijrah, the old shows from Young Smirks. And we have some new shows about Hijrah coming up on the Let's Talk Hijrah channel. And we also have some new podcasts coming up for the Young Smirks channel as well. And also the John Fontain channel's there, but it's kind of dead. Not much going on there. So, brothers and sisters, Jazakallah khair. Thanks for tuning in. Join us on the other channels. Subscribe, like, comment, share the videos. Share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you've got WhatsApp groups, try and share some of the content. Keep people familiar with the channels. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I will leave you with some of the images of Arafat.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك